In the shadows of global progress, a dark truth persists: child labor. A staggering 160 million children are trapped in exploitative labor, robbed of their childhoods and denied their fundamental rights. This is not a problem confined to a few isolated corners of the world. It is a global epidemic touching every continent and tainting countless industries. Agriculture, the backbone of many economies, bears a particularly heavy burden. More than 70% of child laborers toil on farms and plantations, their small hands harvesting crops that will end up on supermarket shelves around the world. These children often work long hours under harsh conditions, exposed to pesticides and dangerous equipment, their education and well-being sacrificed for the sake of profit. The persistence of child labor is a stain on our collective conscience. It is a stark reminder of the deep inequalities that continue to plague our world and the urgent need for collective action to protect the most vulnerable among us. The faces of these children, robbed of their childhoods and denied their basic human rights, should haunt us all. Child labor is not just a moral abomination, it is a violation of international law. Conventions like the ILO's Minimum Age Convention and the Worst Forms of Child Labor Convention set clear standards for the protection of children. Yet these laws are routinely flouted. In February 2024, a chilling investigation exposed the use of child labor in the supply chains of several major US companies. Children, some as young as 10, were found working in appalling conditions in factories and fields across India, Bangladesh and Brazil. These children handled dangerous machinery, were exposed to toxic substances, and endured grueling hours without adequate rest or compensation. These revelations sparked outrage and renewed calls for corporate accountability. Consumers, increasingly aware of the ethical implications of their purchasing decisions, demanded transparency and ethical sourcing practices. The pressure on corporations to clean up their supply chains and ensure the well-being of all workers, regardless of age, has never been greater. The fight against child labor is a fight for justice, and it is a fight that must be fought on many fronts. Holding corporations accountable for their supply chains is crucial. While international laws and conventions provide a framework, enforcing these laws and bringing perpetrators to justice is a complex and often frustrating endeavor. A March 2024 U.S. appeals court ruling underscored the challenges of holding corporations accountable for labor abuses in their supply chains. The court dismissed a lawsuit against tech giants Apple, Alphabet, Dell, Microsoft and Tesla, alleging their complicity in child labor in cobalt mines in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The court's decision, citing a lack of direct connection between the companies and specific instances of child labor, highlighted the difficulties of establishing legal liability in complex global supply chains. This ruling underscores the urgent need for stronger legislation and more effective mechanisms to hold corporations accountable for their entire supply chains, ensuring that profits do not come at the expense of children's lives. The fight against child labor is a collective responsibility, demanding a multi-pronged approach. Trade unions around the world are on the front lines, advocating for workers' rights and pushing for stricter enforcement of child labor laws. In Ghana, the General Agriculture Workers Union has been instrumental in incorporating child labor clauses into collective bargaining agreements. NGOs play a vital role in exposing abuses, advocating for change, and providing support to vulnerable communities. Organizations like the International Trade Union Confederation, ITUC, are working tirelessly to raise awareness about child labor, promote international conventions, and push for greater corporate accountability. Public pressure is also a powerful tool for change. Consumer boycotts, social media campaigns, and shareholder activism can force corporations to confront unethical practices and prioritize ethical sourcing. The Pact for the Future, launched in September 2024, is a testament to the growing global movement to eradicate all forms of exploitation, including child labor. The fight against child labor is far from over. It requires continued vigilance, unwavering commitment, and a collective effort from governments, corporations, civil society, and consumers worldwide. Only then can we create a world where every child is free to learn, play, and reach their full potential.